order concurrently at 6:02 p.m. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Ortiz.
Okay. Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Will you call the roll, please?
Chairperson Smith.
Present.
Vice Chairperson El-Shanabli is excused. Commissioner Ortiz.
Present.
Commissioner Caraveo.
Present.
And Commissioner Richard is not here at the time.
Okay, thank you. Oral communications. This is the time for the public to address the Planning Commission on items not on the public hearing portion of the agenda. After obtaining permission to proceed by the proceeding officer, speakers should first state their full name and address for the record. Not required. The speaker shall limit their address to 3 minutes. All remarks shall be made to the Planning Commission as a body and not to any particular commissioner. Any public comments that are discriminatory, defamatory, or otherwise not protected speech will not be considered, consented to, or otherwise adopted by the Planning Commission in its deliberations and findings. As a courtesy to others, please silence cell phones and other electronic devices. The Planning Commission strives to treat all participants with civility, and we ask that you do the same. Please keep remarks to 3 minutes. Would anybody like to speak on anything that is not on the agenda? No? Okay, seeing no one, I will close oral communications. We move on to the Planning Commission and Airport Zoning Commission consent calendar. There are no items. I will recess the Airport Zoning Commission, and as there are no items. Planning Commission consent calendar. Approval of Planning Commission and Airport Zoning Commission minutes for the regular meeting of May 18, 2022. Staff recommendation is approve the minutes. Do I have a motion from someone to approve the minutes?
I abstain.
I'll motion to approve.
Okay. A motion's been made by Commissioner Caraveo. Is there a second?
I was not present at the time, so.
Seconded by Commissioner Ortiz.
No, Commissioner Smith, I was not present, so I can't make a motion on that at the meeting.
If you're going to abstain, then we'll have to either wait for Commissioner Richard or just carry this forward to the next one.
Because okay. Continued public hearings. There are no items. New public hearing, conditional use permit 2022 CU02, wireless telecommunications facility. Now is the time and place to open the public hearing to consider conditional use permit 2022 CU02. Assistant Planner Nathan Levy will present the staff report. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Commissioners. So we have conditional use permit 2022 CU02.
Nathan, you're going to need to move the microphone closer to you.
Okay. So we are talking about conditional use permit 2022 CU02. So this is for a wireless telecommunication facility at 5325 Marine Avenue. So this is actually located within the Southern California Edison El Nido substation. We have here the vicinity map. You can see that the substation is to the west of the specific project site, and the green line El Redondo station is directly to the east. Currently at the site, there is what's called a COW, a cell on wheels. It's a temporary cell tower that's 62 feet tall, and it is currently surrounded by a chain link fence that fences off approximately 1,900 square feet. So for the proposed site plan, what we have is a 62-foot tall tower, so the same height, that will be painted a similar shade to utility poles to help it better blend in with its surroundings. The tower itself is proposed to contain 12 8-foot tall panel antennas, 12 remote radio units, and one 4-foot microwave antenna. Beyond this, there would be a fenced-off portion that would be approximately 900 square feet. So we have a reduction in the total footprint of the site of about 1,000 square feet. The cell tower itself, the site, would contain additional associated equipment. These would be located on the ground. They'd be several cabinets that would include, amongst others, a standby generator that would be 50 kilowatts. That's located in the bottom left right here. I don't know. No, you can't. Okay. But in the bottom left of the site plan. Also on the site plan, you see a bird's eye view of what the cell tower would look like with the antenna at the top. We do have some photo simulations presented. The ones on the left are our existing COW, the cell on wheels, and on the right is the photo simulations. We have a staff recommendation after compiling the report, and the recommendation is that the Planning Commission adopt PC Resolution 2022-07 to approve the CUP 2022 CU02 for this wireless telecommunication facility.
Okay, does the Planning Commission have any questions for staff? This is the time for questions of staff.
I have a question. Now, typically, we're used to, when these come to us, they have like a faux palm tree or a faux pine tree, something that looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than just communications equipment on it.
Yes, so this, due to the nature of the site and its surroundings, having a monopalm or a monopine or something similar would actually cause it to stand out further rather than to be concealed. In these photo simulations, you can't quite tell, but you can kind of see in the distance on the top, there are multiple towers, and these are all feeding into the El Nido substation. And so having the utility pole brown color helps it to sort of blend in with that background. Further to the northeast, we also have the Green Line rail that actually runs through there. There's not really much greenage in the area except for directly along Marine Avenue, and that's quite a distance from where the actual site is proposed.
If I may also, in the applicant's defense, they did propose a monopalm, and it was at our request that that not be done because it would be an unusual standout in that area.
I see a concrete.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but the palms work well when you're moving fast. But, you know, this is pretty far in the interior, and people who see it will probably not be even driving. So it just sort of accentuates the fakeness of it, circumstances. That's our belief anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is the applicant present? Do they wish to speak?
My name is Jermaine Taylor. I am the applicant with AT&T. I've been working with planning in regards to the requested changes, so I really have no questions or unless there's any for me at this time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for attending tonight. Is there anyone who wishes to address the commission on this issue? Would you step to the podium, please? Come up to the podium, please.
Hello, I'm Jeanette Geritano from 5409 Marine Avenue, the townhomes that are adjacent to where this is being proposed. I have a question as to this tower. Is it going to emit how much radiation? We have 43 units in our townhome, and for some reason, these last 2 years, we have 10 new babies. And if there's radiation emitting from this telecommunications, that's a safety and health concern for us and for our community. So how much does this, who's in charge of how much of this 5G network or whatever this is emits a lot of radiation? And I'm very concerned for our inhabitants at Marine Village, and then there's Fusion behind us. I don't even know how many babies are in there.
Ms. Giordano, the Planning Commission is prohibited from considering issues related to radiation by federal law. the site has been deemed, or all of these uses are deemed to be within the safety limits established by the, I think it's the FCC. And so we don't have that information because we don't ask for that information. You can probably get it from either the applicant or the carrier, AT&T, directly, but it's not considered in the decision-making today. We're prohibited from doing that, so we won't be able to answer your question.
Well, the applicant from.
Not as part of the testimony, but you can certainly.
Oh, okay, I just was
certainly
very
just-
concerned about this because we
Yes.
just got it in the mail last week, and
I understand.
thinking,
I just wanted to make it clear, though, that that the Planning Commission will not be addressing it, will not take testimony on that from the applicant.
okay, let's go back to where it is.
Okay.
Is it near the parking lot of the Metro, or is it closer to us? I can't figure out where they're gonna put this. Is it a building, or is it a tower?
It's just a pole with equipment at
Oh,
the
it's
bottom.
not a 900 square foot building
No,
going in.
no, the 900 square feet is the lease area, so that's the
Ah.
part inside the fence.
But it's actually inside the El Nido, closest to
Closer to
the Green Line,
yeah,
right? It's not
that's right.
closest to us.
No, it's by the Green
Like, all I
Line.
could think is in that beautiful, we're already fenced in from Edison. They're gonna put this big old tower.
Yeah.
And I will be there shooting arrows at it. Okay.
No,
Thank
we're
you.
good. I think you'll be fine.
Okay. But I still want to know about the radiation. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the commission? Please step to the podium.
Good evening. Paolo Volpis, 5401 Marine Avenue, resident. I just wanted to express some concerns, and although I don't like to disagree with your approach, blending something ugly with something that's ugly behind it might not be the best approach in my mind. I speak from an angle of expertise. I'm a licensed architect, therefore I do understand what you're trying to accomplish here, but also I understand that there's always an intent within your purpose to actually address not just health, safety, but also welfare of the neighborhood. And although I think that perhaps AT&T attempt to propose a palm tree looking antenna, right? Trying to blend it with a bunch of other antennas we have there might not be the best approach. I think that you guys should see if you can try to implement something that mitigates the negative impact not only of this antenna to the neighborhood and the community, but also to the remaining of the landscape that is behind this antenna, which is the substation. You pointed out that this antenna is actually right next door to the metro station. Pretty soon we're going to have the purple line working. People from Beverly Hills are going to come to that particular metro station to either take the plane, to take a taxi to go to the airport, or to go to the beach. Later on, we're going to have the pink line also arriving to the substation. So in my mind, to the metro station, which is adjacent to the substation, in my mind, this is a great opportunity for the city of Hawthorne to shine, right, in this particular location and take advantage to this opportunity to embellish this particular location for the future coming up. And because we are dealing with not only residential communities next to it, which is definitely an issue, right? We're dealing with a main corridor that is the access to the city of Hawthorne, adjacent to Redondo Beach, is the access to Manhattan Beach, going to the beach and coming back. So it's definitely a visible location for the entire city to admire. And neglecting it by just leaving the substation as it is, without landscape buffering, without noise control, and all those things, I think is to the detriment to the community. So I wish you guys could try to use this opportunity to set some new standards on how to handle and mitigate these particular improvements.
Mr. McLean, do you have anything you'd like to respond to?
Everything he's asking for is within your power to grant, but our recommendation is still to have it as is.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. McLean, are there any documents to place into the administrative record, such as late communication?
I don't believe it. Nathan, did you receive anything? No.
Okay. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any final comments on this item or a question of the staff?
I had a or a question. I want you to know where the residential site is located in relation to the subject site.
The residential areas, I'm sorry, Nathan, if you're going to go ahead, do it.
The residential sites that have been discussed today are approximately 930 to 950 feet to the west of the cell site, or the wireless telecommunications facility site. And it is on the other side of the El Nido substation from the proposed project site.
Okay, are we able to see it in this map here?
Yes, it's close to the blue line, far to the left.
Yeah, if you, all the way on the left side of the map, if you were to continue this map, you would be able to see the residential sections, but it's beyond the scope.
They're just barely off of the
Off
image.
of the map. Oh, okay.
And that's where the residential is?
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Marine Village.
okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Wait, excuse me. Wait till we finish with this, then you can come up.
But the closest one is outside of this map.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
So it seems like you will have views of the tower from far away. So I wouldn't, because of the surroundings, I wouldn't be in favor of doing like a mono palm or a mono pine, but making sure that the color that's painted, there's some colors that blend in more with the sky, or, which is essentially what you're going to mostly see. The background's going to be probably sky or other towers. So you said it's being proposed to be painted dark brown.
Yes, a similar shade to utility poles, the
Okay.
wooden utility poles.
Yeah. I don't know if that's probably the best color for blending with the surrounding. I mean, I'm not sure about blending with other utility poles, but I know I've seen like some towers painted almost like a camouflage color that has a combination of blues and grays that make it blend more with the sky or with the background. So I think that would be something better than the brown that's being proposed. Yeah. Maybe does the applicant have any other or
You can-
references of colors like that would be more applicable that he can provide?
In regards to the colors, poles are normally either the steel gray that they come in, but of course you guys want the stealth, so that's when the poles are painted brown, or basically they're never painted camouflage, they're just green with the aesthetics and the fake branches. But as he mentioned, the majority of the jurisdictions, they either want them brown or they want them regular steel gray. So those are pretty much the only options that they are. So
That said, though, you can paint it any color at all.
yeah, it can be painted any color, but what color is gonna actually blend in with with the surroundings. The brown, as you guys are aware, the neighboring cities like Paramount, Long Beach, places like that, they do request that they're painted brown. If they're not fully stealth, as if a tree, they normally request them to paint them brown.
And it's a dark brown? Do you have like a paint?
It's on the photo sim.
It's just like in this photo
Yeah,
sim.
it's-
It's a
it's on
dark
the photo
brown.
sim.
It's
Oh,
very
it's-
similar to the color of a utility
Oh,
pole.
the wood
Yeah.
Yeah, the
utility.
wood
Oh,
brown.
okay.
So the thought behind it is that we're used to seeing these in this kind of industrial slash
Okay.
urban setting,
Yeah.
that our mind just blanks them out.
Yeah.
Now, steel gray would work as well.
Yeah.
And you got to remember also the existing SCE towers there on the property are still gray.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I would think a steel gray or galvanized gray would blend in better than something
well,
much
that's actually
darker.
Well, that's actually what we originally proposed. We originally proposed a regular steel gray pole, and then you guys requested us to do the stealth pole. We did the stealth pole, and then you guys came back and requested us to do the regular pole, but just painted brown. So, I mean, we've given you 3 options already.
It's a process, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think maybe the stealth brown would be more appropriate if there was more landscaping elements around. But in this case, I think a lighter gray, like a galvanized gray, would be more appropriate. Would be my suggestion and change.
Back to the original middle, right?
I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, at the site right now, I kind of did like an aerial view. It looks like it's just like utilities and mechanical equipment on the site. Is that correct?
Yes, it's an SCE substation, and there's nothing but, you know, transmission towers and transformers and things of that nature on the property. It's an SCE substation, so every tower there that's located on the property is steel gray.
Okay.
Okay.
And you said the street running east to west, is that Marine Avenue?
Yes.
Okay. And there's landscaping already in the front of the property, or is it?
There was. I'm not sure if it's still there because they're redoing that, and they're taking a long time to replace it, but it's in the works.
It's in the works on the part of the applicant or
No,
the
on
city?
the part of SCE.
Okay.
Are we able to open the public hearing back up to the audience?
It's up to the chairperson.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Are we able to open the public hearing back to the audience to see if people have questions?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
For just a minute. Step up.
Once more, Paolo Volpis, 5401 Marine Avenue. Also, one thing we're not addressing is also the sound, the noise from the tower. Okay, what that means is that currently Edison is doing some on and off repair work on their facility during the night. Okay, and although it's not permitted, they do it. It doesn't happen like for a week straight. It happens like 1 day yes, 3 days no, 1 month nothing, then 3 days continues. People don't complain because, of course, the intrusion in people's sleep is not that long that makes people get fed up and then make a call to the Public Utility Commission. However, this doesn't mean that these issues are not present. So my question is that when cellular towers actually go off for some reason, which happens, they usually do repairs night and day until it gets fixed, okay? And this creates noise. And 900 feet from there, in pure silence, I guarantee you, pure silence, because from my unit, I can hear motorcycle on the freeway during the night. So if they make any noise during the night, how we deal with that? How is Edison or AT&T try to mitigate this concern, okay, to assure that we are able to sleep with the windows open during the summer? So this is another issue that I wanted to bring to your attention, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like we have one more person.
Okay. Yeah, please. Give
Hi,
us your name, please.
My name is Lisa Scott. I'm a homeowner for the last 20 years at Marine Village, 5403 Marine Avenue. I also live on the substation side, and I do have concerns because at night when I'm sleeping, I already hear the cracking that whatever is existing in the substation. I see cracking, I see electricity going off. I'm already concerned about that, let alone having a tower. Additionally, I just want to say that we have been fenced in by Edison, and they have not provided any communication as far as when they're going to start doing the work and taking away the only green space that Marine Village has, because we're surrounded by industrial. We're surrounded by an industrial FAA building up on Aviation, and then surrounded by the substation to the east. So the communication has been very poor. We've got a big fence. We've got big signs. Like when I look out my window, it says, "Private property, do not trespass." I can't even go out there. So I don't know why I have to look at those ugly signs. I'm also concerned about my property value and everybody else's property value in Marine Village and Ocean Air and Fusion. This is affecting all of us and literally taking away all the green space, and it is the gateway to Manhattan Beach, and we would like to have more communication from Edison on this. Thank you.
These are all valid concerns, but Edison is not the applicant.
Yeah.
So there's not, Edison is not the applicant here, AT&T
Right.
is. So
Yeah,
there's
it's AT&T.
it's an issue that has to be taken up with Edison.
Okay. Okay. I will now formally close the public hearing on these items and call on my fellow commissioners for a vote on Resolution 2022-07, approving conditional use permit application 2022 CU02. Do I have a motion?
That's more questions for staff. As for like the construction hours, they would have to abide by the construction hours?
Yeah, the city has set construction hours.
Okay.
Repairs, if it's an emergency, they can do them when it happens. But if it's just changing things, then they have to do it during the construction hour. This is considered, vital communication. Even our police and fire will use this system sometimes in an emergency. So we're not going to put restrictions on when they can do necessary repairs. But if they do any changes out there or during the construction, they have to abide by the city's hours of approved construction, which, Maria, do you know what they are?
I believe they begin at 7 a.m. And 6 or 7 p.m.
Yeah, it's just barely, around dinner time they have to stop, and I think Sundays are not allowed. Is that correct? Or is that changed?
No Sundays and
No Sundays.
no federal holidays.
Yeah, no Sundays are holidays, so for what it's worth, at least there'll be some relief there.
And then, so the applicant is it Verizon or T-Mobile? Which one?
AT&T.
AT&T? Okay. And then just so that the audience knows that, so it sounds like this is a request from AT&T to put a site on an Edison site, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So a lot of the issues, it sounds like that they have is with, Southern California Edison, not necessarily with, AT&T, which they're occupying a portion of that Southern California Edison site, which is the 900 square feet.
Correct. Right now, it's occupying approximately 1,900 square feet, but the proposed site would be 900.
Okay. And I know somebody had mentioned about potential development for that site, which it sounds like the city wouldn't, have any say on that. What about the metro next to it? That would be Metro.
Yeah, Metro,
Yeah.
under their control. There's questions of preemption, but we would have some jurisdiction if they wanted to make any changes. But I have not heard of any. I don't mean to dispute what the speaker said, but I think that the exchange going to LAX is happening further north, like 3 stations north.
Yeah. And then just seeing that, the existing site does have a lot of utility and mechanical equipment on the site. I do agree with the commissioner about stealthing it to like a grayish color to fit in with that existing site. And I know with, FCC regulations, we don't have much say on
No say.
radiation or things like that. No say at all. And so that kind of, keeps us tied to, just approving it based on the design and what they're actually proposing, which is AT&T proposing a cell site on an existing, utility company site. It looks like the residential, based on staff saying that it's 900 feet away. I mean, I wouldn't see any issues with approving it, and making sure that they abide by the construction hours that the city has, and stealthing it the grayish colors to blend into the existing area.
Just real quickly, I agree. I think if we were talking about a site that was that where they were proposing to take away green space, where there was a park there already, and they're removing landscaping, that would be a different story. Unfortunately, everybody uses cell phones. Everybody needs these towers, and we're trying to mitigate as much as possible the blending in issue. But it's an industrial site, so that's actually the best location, considering other possible locations that have green space already. So the same, I would make the motion to approve with condition to change the color to like a stealth gray.
May I also suggest that you include a condition that just reiterates the city's construction hours?
Yes.
Just to make it
Agree.
abundantly clear.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay,
Call for the
Commissioner
vote.
Ortiz,
Sorry.
can I go?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Ortiz
Yes.
and Commissioner Caravello
Yes.
and Chairperson Smith?
Yes.
Okay, so this is approved with 2 changes to the conditions of approval, 3-0. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll now recess the Planning Commission and call back to order the Airport Zoning Commission. There are no items. Airport Zoning Commission consent calendar, there are no items. Airport Zoning Commission new continued public hearings, there are no items. So I'll call back to order the Planning Commission concurrently with the Airport Zoning Commission. We have no items. Non-public hearing items, none. Administrative items, 1, color approval, 13865 Hawthorne Boulevard, commercially zoned property. Assistant Planner Nathan Levy will present a staff report. Oh. Did you change it?
So, yeah, my script says Melissa Flores, but
I know,
she's
she told me.
ill, so
That's
Maria
what she
Maharic
told
will
me.
give the presentation.
Okay.
Good evening, Commissioners. Yes. Unfortunately, Melissa is not able to be here today to present, so I will be presenting the staff report on her behalf. And my name is Maria Maharic, and I will be presenting the color consent application for 13865 Hawthorne Boulevard. The property is located within the C2 local commercial zone and therefore does require approval of colors per the municipal code. As you can see from the vicinity and zoning map, it is located off of Hawthorne Boulevard between 138th Street and 139th. This is the view of the original building. The image does show the frontage of the building looking west. And it was all white at some point. And this is how it presented itself at the time. The applicant painted the building, not realizing that, again, they needed approval. And this was the view that was seen by code enforcement. And code enforcement flagged the property upon finding it brightly painted with the reds and the different colored blues. And it was done prior to approval. So when code enforcement flagged it, then the property owners or the business owner repainted the building after code enforcement identified the unapproved color change. And this is the view that they are actually presenting and before you and are requesting approval. So as you can see, the applicant has indicated the use of 4 colors. The application is proposed to have a base color of white, a light blue, which is an accent. They're proposing 2 accents, a light blue in the round facade of this building, and the red just in the other little facade. It's a unique building, so they have a lot of little nooks and crannies within it. And the trim is a darker royal blue. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the color palette as proposed with the blues and just a small bit of red. We are requesting that the applicant use graffiti-resistant paint or a coating. The applicant will need to maintain the building graffiti-free and understands that we can cite if the city has to take care of the graffiti. And that concludes my staff report, or Melissa's staff report. And here's the view of the building, and I'll show you the before
Okay.
and
thank
the
you.
after.
Thank you. Does the planning commissioners have any questions for staff?
No questions on my part.
I have a question, really not related to the color. What's the percentage of like window signage that we allow for?
Well, as you can see prior, right, there was a lot more signage. So in terms of the window signage, they could only cover 25% of the window with signs, and it does count towards the allocation of the allowable signage per building frontage. Unfortunately, we do have many windows that look like this with a lot of window signage. And it's something that we would have to address as a whole.
Okay,
So that answers, I hope that answers the question.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, in a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Caraveo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz,
Yes.
Chairperson Smith,
Yes,
and that is approved, 3-0.
thank you. Items to be placed on future agendas. Downtown Hawthorne Specific Plan Amendment to Permitted Uses. 14107 Crenshaw Boulevard, a wireless telecommunication site. 3940-3944 West El Segundo Boulevard, new drive-through restaurant. 3301-3317 West Rosecrans, new drive-through restaurant. 13304 South Englewood Avenue, color approval. That's to be placed on future agendas. Okay. Commissioners have anything to report?
I noticed that the group had left already. I just had wondered if they maybe end up watching it later, if they have any further issues with, sort of the California Edison, maybe to contact code enforcement, because it sounded like a lot of their issues had to deal with the actual utility company on the site and not the applicant. And then just thank you to staff, and glad to be back. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Interesting to be back. Really kind of weird, but cool. Good to see everybody. I had a question for staff, and it's related to the Green Line luxury housing apartment complex. I know that at one point when there was about 250,000, if I'm not mistaken, that was allocated for art. For that
art?
art for that project, and I think it came before us as administrative item or like a kind of like a heads up of what they were planning on doing with that.
So,
And, yeah.
sorry.
And I haven't seen any of that come to fruition, so I was wondering.
There
about-
was a certain amount allocated that they were supposed to utilize and place some art, some sort of art. And I don't recall exactly what kind of art, but it is in the record. And we'd have to look back to double check to
Okay.
make sure, number one, how much was it, where was it supposed to be placed, and what was supposed to be placed there. So we can look back.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
through the
my
record.
memory's pretty vivid on that, and I'm pretty
Yes,
sure it
you
was
are
like
correct,
250,000, and the plan was, they came with the design of, some sort of art collage that was gonna happen along the front.
Yes, it was in the front,
Yeah,
I remember.
But my main point is, if the building's complete, that should have been part of the conditions of approval, and if they're not compliant with that, they need to. So,
Yes.
Yep.
It's the Millennium Project, I think is
Okay.
what they called it, yes.
all right,
I will check.
yeah, that's it. Good to be back.
Okay, thank you. Manager report.
I have two things. I was contacted last week by a student, I forgot the name of the school, it was one of the art schools, who was interested in doing a presentation, preferably before the Planning Commission, on an idea for urban farm installation at a portion of the Hawthorne Mall site. So it's not an actual project, it's just somebody who's seeking, the experience of presenting in front of a Planning Commission and is looking for honest feedback. So I said I would ask if the body is, interested in doing this at the end of a meeting. We'll just put it as part of I don't know, we'll find a place for it on the agenda, but it'll be at the end. I will only schedule it if we have other hearing items or other items, because otherwise, it gets a little dicey with, having, providing that benefit or service without, your normal, convening. But it seems like it could be very interesting, and so I said I would, ask. So I was just seeking some input from you guys.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Let him speak.
Yeah, it sounds like a positive idea, and, be
Yeah.
good for everybody to hear that, just even if it's theoretical, and to support young ideas, creative ideas. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
And just as an aside, it seems to be very much in line with our recent approval of the environmental justice element. And it seems to also align fairly well with the Downtown Hawthorne specific plan, which I shared both of those with this student, and hopefully, they'll address those things too.
Great. Yeah.
So that's good. I will inform that person. The other thing, just wanted to let you know that we believe that we're getting a new restaurant at the Millennium site, because they've applied for signs. So that's a positive change. Do you remember the name of the restaurant?
Tapville.
Okay, so this sounds like it'll be like a brew pub maybe?
Yeah, it's there's at least several other Tapvilles around. I was sent a link to the site, and it's an idea of using a card
Oh, you serve yourself?
to serve yourself.
Yeah, I've been to one of those.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, that's a nice trend, for especially, I think people younger than me are doing it. But that's some good news, and I thought I would share that with you.
Yeah, great.
That's all I
Okay,
have.
Really good news.
That's it. Thank you very much. Okay, if there is nothing further from the commissioners, these meetings are adjourned at 6:45 p.m. Thank you very much. Glad to see you.